Hi, this is Snow White. I wanted to make this video to share something with you guys. Jim and I went on vacation. We left last Friday, and we got home last night, which was Thursday evening, so we were gone 6 days. On our way home, we were looking for things to pass the time as we were driving, so I found some Bigfoot stuff to listen to, and what I found was Bigfoot Eyewitness Radio, which is Vic Cundiff's radio show, and we listened to episodes 64 and 65. It's a two-part interview. It is so interesting, and the reason I want to share it with you is that as Jim and I were listening to it, we kept looking at each other and our jaws would drop and we'd just be like, we couldn't believe the similarities of what these two people were describing goes on their property, and the experiences that they're having, how similar it is to what we are experiencing. The people's names are Robin is the lady, and her brother's name is Aaron. They live in Montana, and the Sasquatch live on her property. Apparently they have activity almost non-stop, and that's what those episodes are called, non-stop Sasquatch activity. So it's like it is here. I mean, it's just like there's almost always something happening, which you've probably noticed from my diary videos and everything. They seem like very intelligent, rational people. And, it seemed like you could trust what they were saying. The only main difference that I saw was that they seemed to have encounters with dogmen, which I haven't. So I don't know anything about that. But the first thing that I wanted to show you is how I was feeling on vacation. It's very similar to what she says. It's like I was missing them and the activity. So I'm going to play a little bit of her interview and what she was saying, so you can listen to that, because this is kind of how I feel.
Very hard to believe, but it is all the time. They're constantly doing things, and we, at least in my mind, they're just like having family there. And I've spoken with other people that have Sasquatch on their property where they have this kind of a relationship, and they say the same thing, that it's almost like they're an extension of your family, and they just interact with you as a member of a family, as bizarre as that sounds. But one of my friends was saying that he has a little female Sasquatch that they will leave out little gifts for her, and she really likes, like how the Sasquatch here really like that lip balm. She likes lipstick, and as odd as that is, they'll leave them little gifts of things that they like, and then when they're out of whatever it is that they left, they'll bring back the empty container like they want more of that item. So it's comforting to know that I've found other families that have this going on too, and that my family experiences this as well, because if I were here by myself and experiencing this, I'm pretty sure I think that I was a little off my rocker.
You live it, so it's secondhand to you, but yeah, for someone on the outside looking in, listening to all this, it is hard to digest and fully understand, but that's to be expected. But thank goodness they've got such a good relationship with you, or maybe vice versa on that.
Yes, it's a very, very good relationship, and even when I travel and I don't hear the knocks and things, it's kind of, it makes me a little melancholy not to have that connection when I travel.
Well, that makes sense. It sure sounds like there's never a dull moment on your property.
That's for sure, Vic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, because I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that connection with them, because I was really missing them while we were gone in the activity. So, like I said, I'm going to put a link under this video for you to be able to go to that interview and listen to it. It'll be in the description. Like I was saying, there are just so many similarities between what these people were describing that they experienced and what we experienced, that it was blowing our minds. Jim and I would just look at each other in disbelief as we were listening to this. And some of the things they describe that are similar were like, they find greasy, oily handprints on it stuff, and they describe them mimicking owls, and the list just goes on and on. But the thing that really caught our attention was when they were talking about hearing them speak. And if you remember the video of mine that I just put out called Bigfoot Talk to Me, caught on audio video September 24th, 2017. I just had the experience of what I think could very well have been one speaking to me. So you'd have to watch that video if you haven't to know what I'm talking about. But if you go down through the comments that people have left under here, what they hear, they describe somebody saying, "Hey Bob," and things similar to that. "Hey Ma," "Hey Bob." And several people were saying that it sounds like Spanish or a different language. And that just blew our minds, because these people describe hearing them talk, and it is very similar to that. I'm just going to go ahead and play how they described it. They described, I think, 2 or 3 different instances where they've heard them speak. So I'm going to go ahead and play the first one. This is the brother, Aaron, telling about one of the experiences. And in this one, he, instead of hearing "Hey Bob," the Sasquatch said "Hey Bill." So listen for that.
The second experience, it was a brief experience. You know, again, my experiences with these beings is limited. I've never seen one. For whatever reason, they've chosen not to reveal themselves to me in that way. At least not yet. But with that being said, my entire family, we went in 2 vehicles to a trailhead that we knew we could take my sister's dog on, because he likes just to roam around off a leash, and he's friendly as can be, and doesn't interfere with anybody. I mean, there's no danger there to anyone, so we just let him free roam when we're out on these trail hikes. But, you know, there was maybe 2 or 3 cars at the trailhead there. You know, it was a large parking lot, you know, surrounded by woods and stuff. So we just pulled up and parked in our vehicles, and we got out, and we're all walking towards where the trail starts, and all of a sudden, you know, we hear this, "Hey Bill," you know, or "Hi Bill," and it wasn't like a normal voice. It had a really like low, metallic kind of a sound to it. I mean, it definitely was not how a person would sound. It's really hard to describe, but metallic kind of fits it. And it was just so bizarre of a sound, but we heard it, and I stopped. My mom and my sister and I, we all stopped and kind of looked at each other. I mean, my dad is very hard of hearing. He didn't hear it. And so we all stopped, and my sister looked at me. She goes, "Oh, thank God you heard that." And my mom looked at us, and, you know, my mom not being as open as we are, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I heard that too." And we were just looking around at each other and we're like, "Wow, what, you know?" So we just said hi back and just continued on our way. But, you know, it was just amazing that they had interacted that way. So that was a second experience I had. Left more questions than anything, but yeah, that was that was an occurrence. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so you notice that he said that it sounded metallic or just, you know, abnormal, very not human-like. And I'm going to show you now what the sister said that she found. So it'll take me a minute to find it on my phone. Okay, here's the sister's comments about hearing them speak.
I were out one time by our river in Bath, and there are big boulders on that river, and it was when the river was down. So she wasn't in any danger at all. And as my brother was saying earlier, how their voices are very metallic sounding, and this was right when all of this first started happening too, and I had never heard their voice speak English. I had heard, my aunt and I had heard them before. My aunt speaks Cherokee, and I speak Spanish. And what we had heard was a combination of Cherokee words, Spanish words, and something else that we don't know what that language was. But it definitely had components of Cherokee and Spanish in this language. And one thing about when they speak, I don't know if they have multiple vocal cords. I don't know. I'd be really interested to see what their anatomy is with regards to their vocal cords, because when they speak loud, and it's not this whisper talk that you can hear, it reverberates in your chest. You can feel the vibration in your chest when they speak. Until this point, I had never heard anything in English. I thought they just had their own language, and that was it. So I was down on the river with my daughter, and she was on this boulder, and she wasn't in any danger. The water was very low, maybe a couple inches, and she's 2.5, and I had turned around to look at something, and as I was turned, I heard Robin in this very deep, authoritative voice, but it wasn't how you and I would talk. It was metallic sounding. But again, I could feel it vibrating in my chest. It was like being hit by sound, like how people talk about being hit by infrasound. It's what it felt like. I could definitely feel it in my chest. And I turned around, and my daughter was about to do a little face plant in the water. So I know that they really look out for us, and that they obviously didn't want her to get hurt. So we've had that experience, she and I did.
So if you noticed, she said that what they've heard is a combination of like Spanish and Cherokee and maybe some other language that they don't understand what it is. So I just found that very bizarre, that it was so much like people were commenting on my video what they heard, and the guy that said that the one hollered out "Hey Bill," and people were hearing on mine that they were saying "Hey Bob." So it's just that there's so much in this interview that corroborates the things that I've been experiencing and telling others, and you know, just putting out there that I really would like for everybody to listen to it, the whole interview, because it is one of the best we've heard in a really long time. So like I said, we are going to, or I will put a link in the description of this video so that you can get to the interview very easily. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the interview.